Hello and welcome to the Creabea Knitting podcast. Hi, my name's Rebecca, I'm the Creabea, and this is a podcast or a vlog all about knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, what I've been knitting on, and what I'd like to cast on in the not too distant future. I put an episode out last week, but I filmed it 2 weeks ago, so I feel like I have lots to update on, and I'm excited. I'm surrounded by projects, I'm surrounded by project bags, I have some new yarn to show. So let's get into it. The first and most exciting thing today is that today is the release of a pattern. The Kintra sweater is now available. You can use Kintra 10 for 10% off over the weekend, or if you're a newsletter subscriber, check the newsletter because there's a bigger discount for you in the newsletter. It should have gone out before the video did, I hope, if I'm organised enough. And it's live. I know that in my last video that only went out a week ago, I talked about this sweater, so I'm going to do like a run through very quickly of the pattern and of my samples, and then I'll move on because I feel like I talked about a lot last week. So first and foremost, I am wearing, well, first and foremost, what is the pattern? It is a colourwork yoke top down sweater pattern. It comes in DK weight and 4-ply. They're both in the same pattern. So if you purchase the pattern, you'll get 2 files, one for DK, one for 4-ply. What else? It's a round yoke, but it's finished with a raglan shaping. You can see it here really clearly on this sample. That side's probably not very good for the light. It's finished with raglan shaping so that you get a better fit around the bust, around the arms. It's quite interesting. You start increasing on the body. You continue increasing on the body and you stop increasing on the sleeves, and it means that quite often with round yoke sweaters you get kind of like a bulbous sleeve, and this prevents that from happening and ultimately leads you to get a better fit. What else? It's got short row shaping. That's everything on the construction. The colour work. So the sweater holds between 3, I guess technically you could use 2 contrast colours and 24 contrast colours. So I've been thinking about having a linear yoke, like a 1x1 yoke sweater for a while, and then I was thinking about advent and it all kind of came together. And originally I thought it'd be great to use for an advent, but I will say actually 2 of my 5 samples use advents. One of them is a 24-day advent. Some of the testers use advent, some of them didn't. So like, it'd be good for advent, it'd be good for like a collection of minis, it'd be good for scraps. Or, I mean, 2 of my samples I just bought 50 gram balls of yarn for. So the one I'm wearing is my advent version. I made this using an Elliot and May non-superwash advent that I got 2024. I will say I chickened out a little bit and I added a few extra rows to the yoke, to the body than the pattern calls for, and I shouldn't have done it. It's giving me a little bit too much fabric here. It's now annoying me. But in my head I was like, oh, if a couple extra centimetres, it'll make it a little bit more oversized. I'll prefer that. I will definitely say my sample knit versions fits better because it's written to pattern. Anyway, this is all knit in Elliot and May. There are 24 colours in this yoke, and I love that it looks a bit like a sunrise or like spring flowers. It's very much not my typical colour palette, but I like it. I'm sitting here and realising I'm missing one of my samples, but that's okay. My main colour on this one is Laxtons Wool Trace, which somebody let me know last week has a QR code, and if you scan the QR code it tells you where the yarn came from, which I didn't know, so that's quite cool. I don't have the yarn with me today, so I'll find, when I come across the ball band I will give it a scan. That is sample 1. I'll put a picture of sample 2, which is actually the very first one I made, and it is knit in, it's also DK weight, and it is knit in Sandnes Garn Pure Gint. Yeah, and Filcolana Peruvian Highland Wool in like a variety of colours. I think it has 6 colours in the yoke plus the main colour. This is my very first one. This is the one that makes me so proud of this pattern because I basically packed a bag. We went on like a little mini break for 4 days, just to like a little cottage, like an 1.5-hour drive north of us. And it was such a nice little break, such a nice little holiday. We went on these big walks and we just chilled out. And I took this project with me and I was just like, I'm just gonna try and see what happens. Like, let's just make this up as we go along. And it was so fun and it was like playful. I really enjoyed it. So that is my original. I put a picture because I put it, I think it's in my bedroom. I think I was wearing it this week and that's why it's there. My third sample is also knit up. This is also DK weight. It's also knit up in Sandnes Garn Pure Gint. All the projects are going to be on the I'm going to make Ravelry pages for all of these this afternoon, so they should all be there. So if you want to know more about these, you'll find I don't make Ravelry projects anymore, but I've decided I'm going to start making them for samples because I think it's helpful for people to see. So this one is just using 5 colours, so 4 plus the main colour. This is all Santa's Garn Pure Gint. One's all navy. And then I have 2 4-ply samples. They were both sample knit. This one is using an advent calendar from Hello Stella, who are in Canada. This was the Pride and Prejudice advent that I got last Christmas. It has 11 colours, so it's missing the pink. There's a pink colour in there, so it's missing that one, but otherwise it's got 11 colours in the yoke. I think this one is so cool. And this one is short sleeved. And the main colour is Kinross 4-ply. And then my last one, which might be my favourite sample. It's on the fence. I love my original one. I love this. I love them all. This one is a contender. It's mohair. So it's mohair held single, which I think is pretty cool. Is that right? Or is it mohair held double? It's mohair held double. Sorry. I'm gonna double check that with my yardages before I finish the pattern page. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted by it. And it is glorious. It's absolutely glorious. It like glows. These are all minis by Rainbow Heirloom, which is a Scottish based dyer, and the main body of that again is in Kinross 4-ply. And I love this one. The next is a little high on this one for me, but I decided just to accept it. It's fine. I think it's just bound off a little tightly and it's top down, so it has been sewn down, so like worst case scenario I can go back and like redo it, but that's just a little bit rigid, so it's giving me a bit of a mock neck when I wear it, but I don't care. So I think this one is maybe my favourite. We'll see. So those are my samples. I made loads of samples for this because I love this project so much. I think there will be more in my future. I had test knitters that made multiple samples. I had a test knitter who made like a sample with colour work and then a sample without colour work because he just liked the fit of the sweater so much, which is always a huge compliment. And I'm really excited. I've tried to really go above and beyond in this pattern to give extra resources, and it's something I'd like to do going forward. It's really like go back and review my patterns and not just like, I don't think I do the bare minimum, but I don't think I do the maximum. And I think with this one I tried to do the maximum. One of the reasons for that is I've had a lot of messages from people who have not done colour work before or have not done a sweater before saying they want to make this their first sweater. And I love that. I'm really grateful that that's the case. I don't think I generally attract a beginner, super beginner audience. I think I'm like a little bit more advanced knitters. But I was just thinking of all like how hard that could be, or like what are some of the things that a newer knitter might struggle with. And I also was thinking about my own email inbox and how I wanted to try and preempt any like support requests. So this pattern has a lot of tutorials and links out to like helpful resources. It's got if you go to the listing anywhere, so it's on my website, it's on Ravelry, it's on Etsy. There's a link and there's a video, and that takes you to a spreadsheet which has the required yardage per stripe in meters and yards for 10 sizes. And I was sitting in bed last night panicking, because I'm panicking this week because there's a lot of hype around this one and it's just making me anxious. But there are 24 colours plus the main colour, 10 sizes, that's 250 amounts of yarn. It's in it's in yards and meters, so that's 500 points of data, and then there's 4-ply and DK, so there are 1,000 yardages for this pattern. So yeah, I'm just a bit like, I feel like I've had patterns that there's been excitement for before, but there just seems to be a lot, people are very excited for this one, and I don't know if that have impact on sales or not, but I think people were going to jump in straight away, and I'm just like triple, quadruple, I don't know what 5-tuple is. I'm checking everything a lot of times because I just really want to make sure it's right. And my tech editor's checking everything again, and my test editors have done such a good job. So yeah, all I have to say, I'm really excited this pattern is out. I am really proud of this one. I'm a little bit worried, just, yeah, it's a strange feeling. I think we took the pictures on Sunday, and I think since Sunday I've been a bit anxious about it. It feels like people have been asking for months and months and months when the sweater's coming, and now I can finally say it's coming, and I'm now like, oh my god, the sweater's going now, live now. Panic. Anyway, I will be on a train all day when the pattern launches. So the pattern launches, I think, at 5 o'clock on Friday. By the time this video is live, the pattern will have launched. Today is Thursday. I am travelling to Unravel this weekend. I'm very fortunate that a good friend of mine is having a baby shower, and their baby shower happens to be on the weekend of Unravel and happens to be in the same town Unravel is. So my partner grew up in Farnham, which is where Unravel is held, and Unravel was the first yarn festival I went to, and I don't think I've been for 3 years. Sam and I were out walking. His parents used to live in Farnham, they moved back to New Zealand. So like Farnham kind of feels like Sam's home, even though his parents aren't there anymore. We still have a lot of friends there. So yeah, the last time I was at the Maltings, which is where the festival is held, was for a good friend's wedding. So it feels strange to go to the Maltings. Also strange to go there without Sam. The first time I went, of course, like I was just a knitter. I don't even think I was posting videos. I knit a cardigan and the cardigan was too big, so I had to wear it like tucked into jeans because that's the only way I could get it to not look ridiculously huge. And then the second time I went, I remember somebody stopped me at the door and had like a full conversation with me, and I have no idea who they were, and they were super polite and lovely. And I was with a friend whose baby shower is this weekend, and she was like, do you know them? And I was like, no. But I just started posting YouTube content, so it's going to be fun going back. I have no plans to write, like I've got no yarn I'm looking for, but that doesn't really mean anything. I know there are some brands that are going to be there that I really like. I might look for some bags or a bag. So yeah, I'm excited. I've got plenty on my nails right now. I'm not looking for yarn, but at the same time, I'm unpacking an extra bag in my suitcase just in case. So I will be there all day Saturday, and I will be there on Sunday morning. The baby shower is Sunday afternoon. And yeah, I'm around if anyone else is around, and I'm looking forward to seeing some people. I'm going to meet my tech editor finally. I have worked with her for like a year now, and she's amazing, and we've never met, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm meeting Sophie, the Knit Pro girl, for catch up. We're gonna go for like breakfast or like brunchy something. So all in all, I'm really excited. And in my head, I'm not going to a yarn festival. In my head, I'm travelling for the baby shower. And I have to remind myself that there's also going to be like a day and a half of festivals in between, which is going to be fun. I'm taking my camera, so my thought is hopefully that next week I'll have a little recap video as well. So, completely deranged, derailed, that's the word I'm looking for. Some may also say deranged. A little bit derailed there. All that to say, Kintra's live. I think I'm going to wear this sample and this sample for the festival. Maybe this one on Saturday and this one on Sunday. I don't know, we'll see. And if you're excited about the past out as I am, you can check it out. It's live, it's all there. Hopefully you enjoy all the extra resources. Hopefully my numbers are all right, despite like there were no big number issues in the tech edit. It was a really, really smooth test knit, and even then I'm still panicking. It's fine. This time tomorrow I will still not release the pattern. This time tomorrow plus 3.5 hours I will have released the pattern. Let's move on from Kintra, because I feel like it's my entire life right now. I'll put the links down below to where you can get it, and I'll link my project pages down below as well, so if you want to see any of these projects in more detail you can check them out there too. I have one more finished object. None of these are finished objects, but I feel like I can't launch it and not talk about them, so I really only have one finished object, which everyone went a little bit wild for last week. So this is a sweater pattern which is going to come out in September, so it's ages away, I know, but just bear with me. That's just how we're rolling at the minute. I am a little bit ahead of the game. I think one of the benefits of me now going full time is that I am super on top of my designs for the rest of the year. There are some massive benefits to that. Firstly, like my next test knit is not going out until March 11th, and that pattern's fully tech edited by 2 tech editors. The following tech edit is in process, like it's already been written up. The pattern after that I'm still undecided on, and then the pattern after that is this, and it's already written. So like I'm written for September right now, which is really good to feel, like it's a good way to feel. It also means I've got time to wear my samples a little bit, which means that if there are any changes I want to make before it goes into tech edit, before it goes into testing even, I've got time to change those things based on fit, which I think is quite exciting. Gosh, I'm rambly today. This pattern doesn't have a name yet. I've got a few like penciled in ones, but I'm not sold on it yet. But everyone, you went a little bit wild for it last week, so I hope that excitement is still there. So you can tell actually it's been folded up. I'm planning to wear this tomorrow to travel to, I guess I'm travelling via London. It is a top down set in sleeve sweater. So I feel like set in sleeves were having a big moment. Like I think when I think of vintage patterns, I think of set in sleeves. I feel like we're kind of going through a drop shoulder moment right now, and I think that whilst like Scandi fashion is all the rage, we're going to stay there. But I've been really enjoying set-in sleeves because I think they just give a really interesting fit and they're fun to knit and they look really professional and really clean and like ready to wear garments. But I've done set-in sleeve with like minimal ease, like 0 to 5 centimeters, and I wanted to try more of an everyday sweater with set-in sleeves. And this was born. I mentioned in last week's episode that I had grand plans to knit my stick season sweater for a long time and decided to, like, I'd just been knitting so many of those that I was like, let's do something else. So I did this. So let me see if I can show it. So it's top down and the arms have got this little ribbing detail similar to my stick season on both sides. And then underarm, the way that a set-in sleeve works is because you don't have the width here, you have to add the width under the arms. So instead of like a drop shoulder, you start all the way out here. And you might have a little bit of underarm shaping, depending on the pattern. I think most of my drop shoulders top down do. But like you're increasing like 4 stitches under the arms. This time you're increasing like 20 stitches under the arms. And so I've continued that increase, that ribbing into the increases and then all the way down to the bottom. And then the bottom is finished with a chunky rib and the sleeves are finished with a chunky rib, and this is in like this glorious like letterbox red, tomato red colour. It's bright in here today, so it's blowing out a little bit. I love this thing. I'm so excited to wear it tomorrow. I feel like I've not let myself wear it because I've had nowhere to go. I didn't go to Knit this week because I've been on the crunch time getting things ready for Kintra. So it's gonna finally get worn tomorrow for its first outing. I finished it like maybe last weekend. So yeah, it's kind of precious because it's not, I don't know if I'm excited about it, but I feel like I've not really told the world about it yet. I've told YouTube, of course, but I'm not posting these on Instagram right now, so it's all kind of exciting and a little bit nerve-wracking. So yeah, the test call will probably come in the spring, and the plan is to have a DK and a 4-ply version because I know people want 4-ply and I'm trying to incorporate more 4-ply options into my patterns where applicable. And a few people left a comment that I really liked, which was if it comes out in September, it's a good transitional month so people can, like, you could knit a 4-ply sweater in September and it would still be pretty wearable. So like September's a good time for it. So next job is in to find a name. I feel weird because I almost always have pattern names for my patterns pretty early and I don't for this one, and that feels unusual, but it's okay. So there we go. I actually have an acquisition to talk about in regarding, oh, the yarn, sorry. It is Drops Alpaca and knitting for Olive Silk Mohair. The Drops Alpaca is in red and the mohair is in blood orange. It is blowing out. It looks more orangey red, I think, than it is in real life. It's really tomato or like phone box red. You know, like think of like a London phone box. That's what this is. I got some blocking combs recently and they were so good for this project. You can see I've already lost one up here. And these are just knit picks, and I got the rainbow ones because I thought why not, they come in a couple of colours. I have for a long time just used blocking pins, like T-pins. I bought a set very early on and I actually when I bought these bought a second set of T-pins just because I keep losing them and they run out and they bend or whatever. They were so helpful for this because that underarm ribbing really needed to be blocked out. For it to like, this part here needs to be blocked out to really show off the ribbing. And so what I did was I like lined one of these combs up like right under the arm. And I feel like sometimes with ribbing and pins, you pull it out and then it's like, you know, like you've got like a scalloped edge by accident. So just a tip, if you are remotely interested, I waited a long time to get these and I'm pretty pleased with them. I don't have blocking wires because I don't knit a lot of shawls. But I think, yeah, your 3 main blocking tools are T-pins, combs and wires, and you can get by with T-pins, but these have made a notable difference. Particularly, yeah, things like the side of arms, underarms, like especially with texture when you want to, I knit quite a lot of texture, so a lot of the time I really want to smooth things out with blocking, and these have been really helpful for that. Not remotely sponsored, just letting you know. And I didn't knit picks, I think I meant Knit Pro. I meant Knit Pro, not knit picks, apologies. So yeah, that's my to be named sweater. All finished, all done, gonna start wearing it soon, and thank you for everyone's feedback on the last video. It will be coming in September. It's my first autumn. It's funny because in my head my designing year starts in September because ultimately I do a full year and then I do a birthday sale in August because my birthday is the end of August, and then September is like, okay, start fresh. So it feels weird. I feel like even though it's still 2025, this feels like the first pattern of my next designing year, which it's kind of, oh, and I released my first pattern, I think very end of September. So yeah, September feels like a fresh month. So yes, I need to work out what colours I'm making for my next sample. I'd love a navy blue version. I think that'd be beautiful. Get a lot of wear, and I have some navy blue, both mohair and alpaca. But maybe also like a cream white version. But then my concern with my samples are going to be red, white and blue, which are very patriotic and not really my vibe. So we'll see. But then also I thought like a pop of colour could be nice. So yeah, I'm undecided. Maybe like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm in no rush to cast on my second sample. Lots of other things on my needles right now. But very pleased this is done. Very pleased it's written up. I'm very excited to wear it tomorrow. Okay, should I jump into my works in progress? Because I have 5 of them. So again, following on from last time, I asked about I had 3 designs, and I showed 3 designs and said which should come out in which month. And I showed this Henley, and since then I've added the collar and I did some blocking. So I thought I would just show you it with the collar added. It's been a bit crumpled up my bag, so apologies for that. Okay, I'll show you first and then explain myself. Oh, it's very crumpled. You can see exactly where it's been blocked up to and then exactly what I've done post-blocking because it's so much scruffier. I love that. This is the collar. I really like it. It's a nice chunky collar. I love how the collar runs into the saddle and even like it's all 1 by 1 all the way, which is cool. This is half fisherman's rib. This is 1 by 1 ribbing. I will say that my plackets are a little tight. So these ones here. So they're just curving a little bit around that cast off edge. It might just be a cast off issue, but I think I should probably just pick up a few more stitches. And I probably could do with neating it up. Like that is my knit two together line across the bottom. It's not crazy neat, so I think I'll redo the placket. But I really like this. It smells so good because it's been my wool wash. So it's a saddle shoulder, but it's also set in sleeves in that like the shoulder will end right on the tip of my shoulder blades, and then I'll have to work a sleeve cap to fit the shoulder. But I quite like short rows and half fisherman's rib. I think that they are really easy to do and really effective. And yeah, I think it's going to mean that instead of this being like, I feel like a squishy Henley is a relatively masculine fit, like a relatively masculine look. But I think the set and sleeve is going to soften it a little bit more and make it a little bit more unisex. I'm excited. Again, no name, but that's okay. And also now, because I've decided it's not going to come out in September, the pedal is off the gas a little bit with this one, which is probably a bad thing. But I think I want the body done next week, and then like I've got 2 weeks for each sleeve, so I've got loads of time for this, and I love knitting on it. And yeah, now I've got the collar on, it feels more like a real thing. I think I mentioned the plan is to do this in a version with half fisherman's rib and a version just plain stockinette. And there'll be one, I also, if I'm going to take the plackets off, I might lengthen this collar because I quite like the idea of this being a relatively high, like a higher, like an up here collar, you know, so it's a bit more cozy, and then one which is a really flat collar which lies like at the base of the neck so that there's a more like open version. I'm also planning my stockinette version to be white with navy stripes, which I think is going to be really nice. So yeah, I'm in, that's annoying, that's the thing, like I have no pressure to get this done, and it's not in a position right now where like it doesn't need to be done and I'm not close to the end, so it's kind of in limbo, but that's okay. And the other good thing about this obviously is that sorry, I have the hiccups, all the complicated part is done, so all the maths is done. What is that? Oh no, I found a place where I only pulled up like half the stitch, half the yarn. It's annoying. All the hard part is done until the sleeve cap, so like 3/4 of the mass of this pattern is already finished, so I can get writing on it. But right now, honestly, I'm just trying to give my tech editor a break because I just keep throwing things at her. And I think what's interesting is I told myself that I would use this time being full-time to be more strategic, and what I've actually instead done is avoid anything strategic and instead just get really far ahead of pattern launches. Which is fine, but it does mean that at some point soon, I think once this one and this on my neck, my cable pattern, like once all my patterns for the year are written up, that's going to be like the end of next week probably. At that point I need to stop and start doing some strategic projects instead of just designing months ahead of time. This is Laxtons yarn. It is Laxtons Sheepsoft, which is a BFL Masham base. I think it's really soft and lovely. I like BFL Masham a lot. I find this softer than some of the hand-dyed BFL Mashams I've tried. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think it's really lovely. It's pretty well price point. I think it's like £12 for 100 grams, so not crazy. Like pretty much in the bang in the middle. I wouldn't call it cheap, but it's not as expensive as hand-dyed yarn, somewhere in the middle. And I've got this really lovely like soft beigey colour. Yeah, here's my goal. By the next time I film, I'll finish the body on this. I don't want it to become languishing. So by the next time I film, the body will be done. You can hold me to that. Hold me accountable. It is in my Stick of Feber bag. I will say, I've had mixed results with these. So this is the first, I got this one and I got a large one at the same time. And my large one I was using quite recently, and the silk all burst on the handles. This one has held up really well, and I use this one more. So I don't know, mixed results, like sometimes they're good, and it's also, I don't know, I wondered, like they frayed the handles quite badly on the other one. So I did wonder if maybe they were cutting the bias funny and they caught on something or something like that. But this one has held up really well. This is my favourite one for sure. But I'm hesitant to order more because they're not crazy inexpensive. They're relatively expensive. And with that first one breaking, now I'm a bit like, oh, do I want more if they're going to break? Okay, another whistle stop. Oh, I actually have 6 whips. Thought I only had 5. Okay, I think there's very little progress on this since last time, but I will show you as well. This is my cable sweater, which is a mega pattern coming in October, because we all agreed that October is the month for cables. I don't think I've done very much since last time. Ta-da! Oh, I should finish this so I can wear it while it's still cold in Scotland. But yeah, it's just really nice. I wanted to get the yoke finished this weekend and it's not happening because I cast on a new project. We'll get to that in a minute. It's all over honeycomb basically. Well, it's not actually. You can actually, I don't know if you can tell, but the honeycomb ends there. That's my last honeycomb, and then we've got a regular 4 braid. It matches a cardigan that I've already made. So there's going to be a cardigan and a sweater and a vest, and the vest is going to be button up, or no button up, no V-neck, all round neck. Again, I don't have a name for this pattern. I keep a document on like notes, so I've got it on my phone and on my computer that has all my name suggestions. And what I usually do is like every once in a while I'll go through and like add some new names, and then when I've got a pattern I'll go through and like read through my list and be like, oh, it could be this, oh, it could be that, and try and pick out a pattern based on that. Which generally I love to do, but none of my names are sticking right now for my patterns that I have in progress. So I go through them and I look at my list and I think, yep, it's not a this, it's not a that. So we'll see. But it's going to be the most like gloriously basic, like classic cable sweater. I'm already excited for it. I'm already thinking of the outfits I'm going to wear it next October. It's February. I'm somehow like simultaneously sick of it being winter and ready for spring, and also already excited for autumn 2025 because I've got so many nice knits that I already want to wear for that month, which I'm already wearing now. It's a strange mix. Yeah. Oh, something that I want to point out that's cool about this, or I think is cool about this, is the raglan. It's a really fun raglan. I don't know, I need to see how I'm going to write this in the pattern, but it's cool. Like you knit one and then you knit into the stitch below. That's about it, but it means that you end up with this like very distinct raglan line, which I really like. I think it looks really good. So yeah, I'm using Pure Gint for this, from Sandnes Garn. My first sample was made in Filcolana Highland wool and mohair, and so it's a pretty spenny, like it's a pretty expensive yarn if you add mohair to it. So this is a slightly thicker yarn than Peruvian Highland wool. It's an Aran, they're both Aran weights, I would say. There's only 10 meters difference between the two of them per 50 grams. But I thought by going with a slightly thicker yarn, so I think this is 90 meters, so what's that, 180 per 100 grams? It means I could leave the mohair off, and so far it's working up to the exact same gauge and the fabric is lovely, so absolutely no complaints about that. And I thought it just means it's a bit more affordable not to have mohair options and everything. And when it comes to this one, I'll make sure there's a sample with no mohair as well, just so that people know they can still make nice things without it always costing loads of money. This is my petite knit bag. I felt like the checks matched the vibe. Like the checks and the cables both felt very classic. hence why it's in the bag. I'm giving you a bag tour today, which I hadn't planned, but there we go. Okay, book number 3. This is in a bit of a sorry state because I've had to borrow the needles for something else, but I'm kind of annoyed at myself for not finishing this. But again, the deadline's not until April, so like I'm telling myself I've got loads of time. I knit a Tolsta tank very quickly. I shared it last week. I really enjoyed it. I knit it in Gepard, pure lana and mohair. More on that to come in this episode. But I was knitting that whilst also I think I got accepted or got my email about my Woolly Good Gathering class, or they went live during then. So Woolly Good Gathering is a yarn festival in Edinburgh. It's in April. Last year was its inaugural year, and then now it's coming back for a second year this time, and I'm teaching an Intarsia class, like basic Intarsia, beginner tips, and then a lot of designing with Intarsia, which would be really fun. But I realised that I want something to wear for this, and I find April a really tough time of year because sometimes it's warm and sometimes it's not. So I thought, let's make a vest. So I'm ultimately making a Tolsta vest. Yeah, I'm making a Tolsta vest in Intarsia. The way I've done that is by cutting the pattern in half. So let me show you what I've got so far. I have this so far. I'm on the back panel. I split, that's like my underarm there. So that's, yeah, from there down is the body. I think it's like 20, normally I knit things to 28 centimetres. It's probably around about that. So a quick run through of how to do this. The Tolsta patterns are all knit bottom up in the round. What I did, because Intarsia is generally worked flat, is so what the pattern normally does is you work all the way to the you work up to the underarm, and then you cast off and you work the front and the back separate, and then you join them here, and then you add your ribbing. This is for the vest version, and then you add your ribbing for the underarm and the cuffs and the neckband. Instead of starting in the round, I started flat. So I took my total number of stitches that I'd cast off for my size. Say it's 200. It's not 200, but say it was 200. I divided that in 2. So I'm making 2 panels with 100 stitches. I actually added 1 stitch. Or I added 2 stitches each side because I wanted to seam it up. And I thought I might lose a stitch to seaming. So I actually made it... See, it was originally 200. I cut it in half to 100. And I added a stitch either side. 102. So my panel, say it has 102 stitches. My cuff and my hem band, I decided to keep all in one colour, and I think all my cuffs are going to be red. I bought a little bit more red yarn than pink yarn, so that's going to work. So my arm cuffs and the neckband will all be in red. So I worked this until the length it told me to in the pattern, and then normally you cast off, say, 8 stitches under the arm. I don't think as much as that, but say you cast off 8 stitches under the arm. At the start of this row, I cast off 3, and then 4, and then at the start of the wrong side row, I cast off 4. So like I cast off, instead of underarm, I cast off each side, and now I'm just following the increased rate for the back panel. And then I'll do the same for the front, and then I'll seam them up, and I'll join the shoulders as well within the pattern. I'll probably join the shoulders first, because that's the first part, that's easy to do. I think they're grafted. I should know that's my pattern, I'm pretty sure they're grafted. And then I will seam up the underarms, which I don't love seaming, but it's not very much. It's going to be like, yeah, 28 centimetres. It's going to be this much seaming times 2. And then add my button bands and cuff at the end. So I am using these fun colours, which again, happy Valentine's Day everyone, if you're still watching the day this launches. I'm abandoning the love of my life and my precious little puppy on Valentine's Day to travel to London to be the Premier Inn by myself to go to a festival tomorrow. I am using these lovely Valentine's Day colours. I kind of in my head had this that I'd be finished and I could wear it on the train tomorrow, but I'm so nowhere near happening, but it's okay. I've got my backup red sweater to wear instead. Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool in Chinese red and bubblegum. Matching Filcolana Tilia in bubblegum. Sadness Garden Tin Silk Mohair in the colour red, or the red colourway. So yeah, it's going well. I borrowed my needles, and I just left them like this, which is dangerous. I should at least have put a stitch marker in there or something. Honestly, I'm in this room, I can see from where I'm sitting at least like 4 lockable stitch markers, and yeah, I can't actually reach any of them. Anyway, that is in this bag. Another petite knit bag. I think it was just the one that I had left over, and also it's like kind of pink and floral, and it's kind of pink and floral. 3 more to go. Okay, Did I say my needles again? No. So when I was like, oh, my test knit, my next pattern for my test knit is already with my tech editor. It is, but I'm knitting another sample. So last summer, actually 2 summers ago, I released the Tolsta tee, which is by far my most popular pattern by a landslide. And if I'm honest, I do find summer designs sometimes tricky because I want simple and wearable a lot of the time for summer, and also summer in Scotland is not very long, so I do want fairly quick knits. Hence where the Tolsta tee came from. I couldn't find what I was looking for, so I made what I was looking for, and then I turned it into a pattern, and then lots of people liked it. So what I thought I would do is take the same gauge as the Tolsta tee and the Tolsta tag, and make it into a drop shoulder, because I really felt like last year was my year of the drop shoulder, and I really nailed some bits about the fit that I really like. I like a little bit of short row shaping in the sleeve. I like a trapezoid back. I like underarm increases. Like, there are things I like about it. So, a little detailed increase at the back, yeah, all those things. So that's what we're doing. Now, with the Tolsta tee, one of the things that's really nice about it is it's super customizable because it's a raglan, so you can just like start striping, do whatever, there's not much math to it. But I wanted this to be as customizable as, or like to feel about as customizable as, sorry, these hiccups are not leaving me alone today. I wanted it to feel about as customizable as the Tolsta does, but you have to do a bit more like upfront maths for that. So what there's going to be is there's going to be striping included in the pattern, and thought, well, if that's the case, I'll make a striped sample. So I'm in the really easy part now. I'm just in the knitting in the round. The collar is not there yet, but that's absolutely fine. So some things it has this like, you can't really tell, but it has this like one stitch detail around the back neck, and that's going to be mirrored around the neckline. I made a green sample that I can't see last year, that I love to death. So the only difference between that sample and this sample is I've reduced the armhole depth a little bit, because I thought that the armhole bagged out a little bit over wear. Like, it just wasn't, it was too long, it was too much. I gave the same armhole depth that I would in a sweater, and actually for the t-shirt I wanted it to be a bit more close fitting. Usually with a sweater you're wearing a t-shirt underneath it, so like you want a bit, especially with drop shoulder, you want a bit more space there. I pulled that up by I think about 1.5 centimetres for my size anyway. So the neckband's still to be added, but that's okay. It's giving Beetlejuice, it's giving comical prisoner in a cartoon, but it's okay. So yeah, basically every single size will have 12 rows of difference between the front and the back, which means that you can knit 6-row stripes, you can knit like a 2-row and a 4-row stripe, you could knit 3-row stripes, which you wouldn't want to do because it's back and forward. You could like sub in the stripe for like a lace, like a lace pattern, whatever, but you will know the exact difference of rows. Like, it's been designed so that there are exactly 12 rows difference between the front and the back to make sure that you know what you can do with this pattern in order to modify it your way. So yeah, I am using Drops Belle, which is, I don't know if it's a dupe. Is it a dupe for Santa's Garn? I think they're pretty all pretty much the same, to be honest. Santa's Garn Lina, L-I-N-E. They're all the same. There's another one as well. There are like 3 or 4 yarns that are to me all almost the exact same makeup with like a 1% difference. So this is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, 14% linen, and the Santa's Garn one is basically the same. It's 3 times the price and the numbers are slightly different. They do have really nice colours. So I've bought, I think, the Sunny Lime. God, can you imagine how much things I could keep in my brain if I wasn't storing random yarn facts and colourways? They have a really bright pink and they have a green, a limey green, and I love those colours. I do think the Drops Belle is a bit limited in colours, but, or at least it was last year. This is just black and white. So yeah, now I'm just chugging away. I think my goal for this week, I like to break my knitting down by week. So I know in a week which tasks I have to get done to stay on track with my knitting deadlines, and for this I had to get the yoke done this week, and as you can see the yoke is done. It is joined under the arms. Oh, I really thought I twisted my stitches there. I did not. It's joined under the arms, and from here on I'm just going to knit. This is my next test call. It's coming, I believe, on March 11th, which is still ages away. Pattern is fully tech edited. All ready to go. It's just sitting waiting. It's going to be like a 10-week test. No, maybe more than that. Maybe 11-week test. It's a big test now. 17 stitch gauge. All the same sizes, like bang on the same size as the Tolsta. So if you knit a Tolsta and you like the fit of it, you can pick the same size in this pattern, which I like a lot. I'm really into that. So yes, it's in my Amsterdam bag. which is definitely not. It's from, well, it's from a company called Willow Bay Bags. I got another Willow Bay today actually too. But these are just like, there's a little canal and these are real like tall looking little Dutch houses. So it gives me Amsterdam vibes. Okay, 2 more. You need a break? Do I need a break? Should I drink some water just to be sure? My favourite bag of all time. It's from a company called Apollonie. They gifted this to me. This bag has never come back in stock since they've gifted it to me. And every time they drop bags, they do other bags, and I keep looking back on them because I think that their bag is, I think it's beautiful. I would happily have like 4 of these, but they never use fabrics that are quite as good as this one. I just love I just think it's so nice. It's like a brocade. I love the colours. This bag is never empty. Like there's always a project in here. If this project is finished, something else gets moved into this bag immediately. So this is my second sample of my Torrin scarf, and this is how much I've done. Basically nothing. My scarf's actually right here. Am I going to pull everything off the shelf if I do this? No. This is the Torrin scarf. It is in test knitting. It's a little scarflet. It has this beautiful, is that the right side? Yeah. Drop shoulder? No. Dip stitch technique all over. And it kind of looks holy. You can kind of see through it a little bit. There we go. If I get it in the right light, you can kind of see the holes. So if this is working. This original sample, I used Biche Bouche Le Gros mohair, which they it got sent to me for a pattern I did for Lina magazine 2 years ago, and they told me to keep the yarn. So I've had some balls of this, and it's super expensive yarn. So I was quite happy to use it in something. So this is my small sample, and this is going to be my large sample, and it is knit up in Cardiff cashmere, which I've never bought before. It's very soft. It's just a classic. I think it's 115 meters per 25 grams. So I've got 4 balls. So the largest size actually is written for 400 meters. But I think I'm going to have a little bit more than 400 meters because I've got 4 balls of yarn that are 150 meters. So I'm going to knit halfway till I finish my second ball of yarn and then go backwards. Funny story. This tiny scarf may be the most difficult test knit I've ever run. And we've had a couple of challenging ones in the past. Like some have been challenging, but this one is next level. So ultimately, I just think that if it clicks, it clicks, and if it doesn't click, it doesn't click. The pattern itself, like there have been no mathematical issues. The numbers are right, it's all good, but I really had to like dig in and be like, okay, how do I make this click for more people? So we now have the beginning is charted, but it's hard to chart the dip stitch because the dip happens a stitch over from, like you move over and you go down and then you pull the dip through. So I've done dips in the past where you can dip and you just go below, but it's not just below, it's like over and below, and it's hard to put on a chart. My charting software doesn't have it. I don't think my tech editor software has it. So that's been a challenge, for one. So basically until the chart started, so like these first rows, this little bit here is charted. And then from here to here, it's all written out, word for word. There's a video. And there's also now exciting actually, I've now spoken to a technical illustrator who is going to illustrate the stitch pattern for me. And we're going to have it like in the pattern. So it's quite fun. I will say some testers just flew through it and they were like, it's fine. Like I got it, it's all good, this is making sense to me. And some testers, like I think maybe of the test, I think maybe there are 15 testers. Maybe 12 to 15. I think like 3 of them were just like, I am so stumped. And then like 5 or 6 were like, this makes so much sense, I'm fine, I'm good. And then the middle people were like, I'm confused, is it right or wrong? We're back on track. There's been a major overhaul of this pattern and I'm now excited about it again. But I feel like this has been in the naughty corner because I've not wanted to look at it because the pattern's been stressing me out. So yeah, it's so soft. So I'll be taking this with me this weekend. This is going to be my Unravel project. Like I'm going to carry this around with me whilst I'm at Unravel, I think. So it's a really I could honestly take it in a smaller bag, to be honest. This is a pretty big bag for it, but I love my bag. It's such a cute bag. At this point, like I don't need stitch markers, I don't need anything, I can just go. So Torrin, Torrin, it's an area in Skye that's got lots of like, it's very like rocky, and I love that because this is like quite a That's actually that's a better picture of the stitch pattern than the first one was. I had grand plans to put this in a yoke, but the test knit has scared me off a little bit. I honestly think that I just had to suck it up a little bit because I was just like, oh, like it wasn't just a case of this thing is wrong, fix it. It was like, okay, this is not making sense to everyone. What do I do to make sense of things? Like, let's just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So like, we're going to add more written notes, we're going to add charts, we're going to add a video, and we're going to add illustrations. But I have to knit 2 balls this weekend. That one and one more. That's my goal for the weekend. So let's see. Okay, I have one more work in progress. And then I've got to tell you about some acquisitions. I just had 3 acquisitions. So it's not that many. We're almost there. Okay, this is also in my Willow Bay bag, which has got a little star quilt. What they're called, to be honest. I'm dabbling in quilting, but I'm not that good at it. So actually, let me get this down. So last year, why does it feel so cold? I guess it's been up there. So over a year ago, December of 2023, I cast on a new project, and it was going to come out in April of 2024. The test knit is fully done. The whole pattern has been written. But I wasn't super happy with where I got to with the pattern. I think there were still some things that I needed to clarify. And like quite a few of the testers are regularly wearing their sweaters, but I just knew it could do with some refining, and I wasn't 100% with it. But also it was April, and it didn't feel like I could just push it back by a few months. It felt like I had to wait for this time of year again. It felt quite springtime. Or it could be for cold weather too, but it felt quite springtime to me. So I basically put it on hold for a whole year. So this is Tydes. If you've been around for that long, you'll know about it. It is a drop shoulder sweater with this like really fun wavy technique. It is similar to old shell or like feather and fan lace. It's a similar concept, but of course there's no holes in this one, so we do it without holes, and as a result we get this really fun wavy look. And so my original one is very on brand. It's the sweater version. I do think that, well, I know for a fact that one of my sleeves has more stitches than the other sleeve because the cuff is just so much bigger. So I think I need to go back and fix my sleeve, because look at that. That is my first sleeve, and that is my second sleeve. I think it might just be a cuff issue. So I need to fix the sleeve. Anyway, I made a cardigan version, but I don't like the colours anymore, and I didn't want to lift it. It's honestly almost done. I think it just needs button bands. I probably should still finish it in time for the launch. But I cast on a new sample. And I figured, like, I kind of thought I had to kind of rejuvenate myself with this pattern, because I feel like I left it in a place where I wasn't super happy with the place it was in. And I knew I wanted to re-release the pattern. So I thought, like, I need to fall back in love with the pattern again, because I just kind of forgot about it for a year. And what better way to fall in love with something than to make it really bright? So, let me see how many of these arms are attached. Hopefully none of them. Okay, what colours do we have? Main colour, kind of. Colour 1. Colour 2. Colour 3. Colour 4, and colour 5. So I'm knitting an Easter egg, basically. So what's fun about it is it's a 4-row-ish repeat. 4-row? Repeat? But the stripes can be any width. So these stripes were 10-row stripes, but I wanted to make a sample with shorter stripes. So that's what I made. Oh, it's so much fun. I cast this on like 2 days ago. Look at it! Okay, let me hold this in a way that's not going to knock my stitches off the needles. So, it is so fun, it is so colourful, it's making me think of like warm weather and springtime already, and I am so excited about this. And honestly, like I say, I was kind of apprehensive to start, because I was like, oh god, do I hate this pattern? Can I remember this pattern? what are my opinions about it? I love it. I think, like, obviously it's bottom up, so the more complicated parts are going to be around the shoulder and stuff, but what's quite nice is I'm going to add some video tutorials, which I can do now because I've got another sample to work on. And again, going into it with this, like, let's elevate the pattern, let's do extra, let's make it better. That's my take on my patterns this year. And so I'm looking forward to going back to it with that mindset. I'm also just looking forward to wearing this. It's going to be so much fun. Just like this and like a cute little white t-shirt and a pair of jeans in the springtime in Scotland is going to be perfect. So this is Kaos brushed alpaca. My original sample is in Sandnesgarn brushed alpaca. It's quite dense, like it's a relatively, it's not a super heavy sweater, but it's quite a dense sweater. I kind of assumed that this would be the same, but this knits up like mohair to me. So if you're a person who can't wear mohair, but you can wear alpaca, Kaos, K-A-O-S. I cannot remember where they are price point wise, but they have really nice fun colours. I think I got mine from Tribe Yarns. Yeah, super fun. And it does feel like it's a super, like, this weighs nothing. It's incredibly lightweight. I think it's actually really good for me in the summer in the temperatures I live in, which is like, I think it'll pack up super small in a bag. It will, for sure. Like, that's most of the body knit. It's going to pack tiny. It's going to weigh nothing. And it's going to be a really fun thing to like chuck on as a layer, but also like, it's not going to be for like sticky days, but maybe for like windy days. I think it'll be really nice. So yeah, this is really fun. So Tydes is coming out at the end of March. Sorry, I got really confused there between the Ides of March and Tydes of March, and I was like, oh, could I do something punny? No, Rebecca, that's Ides, not Tydes. Sorry. I'm such an idiot. I was like, oh, Tydes of March. Anyway, yeah, it's coming out in March, and it's really, yeah, it's just super fun. Super fun. I missed this orange stripe. So I was like up to here. I'd done purple, white, yellow. I just started my yellow stripe, my next yellow stripe. Took a picture this morning and I was like, why does that picture not look right? And then I was like, oh, I just forgot the second orange stripe. So I had to rip back a handful of colours this morning to get my orange stripe back in. But that's okay. So yeah, I'm having fun with this. I told myself that I had to get the body done, like my weekly tasks list has the body done this week. But I want to take a new project with me when I'm going away. So I told myself I'm just going to knit as much as I can on the body of this until I leave tomorrow. So I'll still, I guess tonight I'll do some more knitting. I've got a lot of things to do tonight, but I will, like, I like to wrap my day off with like an hour or so of knitting in the evening. Like after dinner is, there's no work. I can work all the way up till dinner time. We have dinner pretty late, like 7:30, 8 p.m. So all the way up until dinner I can work, and after dinner I am not working anymore. Although clearly that's what happened last night and I missed a whole colour, so I can do so with care. But yeah, I think this is currently sitting around like 15, it was 21 centimetres before I ripped back, and I ripped back 3 colours, so I think it's probably around about 17 centimetres. If I can get up to 20, well, 28 is where I wanted to get it to, so I'm just going to knit as far as I can. And I told myself that not under stress. I really was in my head about it. I was like, oh, I'm going to take this project, but I want to take another project. Oh, what am I going to do? It's not particularly bulky. All the yarn, I might need to get another 2 balls of mohair of my oh, that's the one thing. The white is not Kaos. It is gone. Oh, seriously, it's gone. Oh, it's behind me. This is Sandnesgarn Tinsel mohair in the colour Marzipan, because I've got buckets of this yarn. So I thought I'd just use this as a neutral instead of using something else. I will probably have to get 2 more balls of this for the ball. It's going to be the cuffs and the hems and the ribbing. Button bands, cuffs, neckband are all going to be in this. So I think I'll have to get a few more balls of this. But other than that, the entire sweater, every single thing I need to knit in this sweater is in this bag. So it would be a good project to take, like if you're taking one project away with you for like an extended period of time, it'd be great for that. Because it doesn't take, it's not very much yarn. So yeah, that's coming in March, and it feels fun to get it back on the needles again. And I feel like I'm very much falling back in love with this pattern. And once I get Kintra out the way this week, next week I'll sit down with it and go through it, review all my tester notes, re-go over the pattern and work out what are the things that were tricky about it before, and how could I resolve that this time and make sure it's a better... I can't remember, like, was it an experience? Was it a fit thing? I honestly can't remember, so I need to go back before I get to the body split and work out why I didn't feel 100% about this. It also would not massively surprise me if it was in my head. So, it's not really a secret project, but I'm working on some baby knits for a friend whose baby is due in March, and I finished part of the collection, but it's going to be a collection, so I think it's going to be 4 or 5 items, and I kind of like to give it to them all at once because I think I want to give it to them all at once so that like you get all the colours and they go together. But I wanted to, so I'm not going to show what I made until they're all made, but the yarn I'm using is really lovely and I thought I'd recommend it. This is Cascade 220 Superwash Merino. It's very, very soft. It is machine washable and tumble low dry, so I thought that was a good yarn to use for baby knits. Very soft, not fluffy at all. Really nice to knit with. I don't like superwash yarn, really, like it's not really my thing. I don't really need superwash yarn, and that like my summer knits that I wear close to skin I just put in the washing machine with everything else, and my winter knits I just hand wash and it doesn't bother me at all. So I don't love the feeling of superwash yarn, but I'm really pleasantly surprised with this one. I got it from Wool Warehouse. If you've been around for a while, you know I love Cascade. I'm a big fan of Cascade 220. It's probably my most knit with yarn. I think it's really great, like props. So I was confident trying this one. They have 220 Superwash, which is a Peruvian Highland wool. So they have Cascade 220 Superwash. This is not that. This is Cascade 220 Merino Superwash, or it's called Superwash Merino wool. Really good colour selection. Hasn't been worn yet, so like I can't say how it wears, but I just wanted to say if anyone's looking for superwash yarn recommendations that aren't crazy expensive, or if they can get baby knits and doesn't know what to use, maybe it's a good one. So I've got a lot of colours. I've got like 4 colours of this, 5 colours of 1, 2, 3, 5 colours of this. It's on my desk, I'm just counting it. So yeah, I'm enjoying my little baby knits collection. I forget how quick they are, but also I'm a bit of a selfish knitter, so I have to stop myself and be like, knit the baby knits. Because all I want to do is cast on new projects for myself. And I say like cast on new things for myself, but like it's not that I'm desperate to wear them all the time, it's more just that I want them to exist and I want to have them. I want to design them. Okay, last but not least, I have a new bag. And the new bag has new yarn inside. So this bag arrived yesterday. It is from the Woolly Tangle. I bought it on Etsy. And I bought a bag from them before and I had a pretty good going with it. So I was pretty impressed with it. It is a little bit cheaper than, it's an oil, what's it called, wax canvas. So it's a bit cheaper than a lot of wax canvas bags are. I will say there are a couple of points of the stitching, like the stitching here is a little bit messy and the stitching here is a little bit messy. Which I don't, like obviously the start and beginning of round maybe, which I don't love. I can also tell this bit's been gone over like a couple of times because I can see the previous line of stitching. So like that doesn't love that part, but I'm just not going to think about it too much. The other thing that annoys me is that the inside is white, but the outside finishings are beige. So part of me wants the outside finishings to be, if this is going to be beige and this is going to be beige, I want the inside to be beige and not white. But dramatically cheaper than other ones in the market. So for like a I mean I think a lot of these go for like upwards of £60, right? And this was I think 30. So yeah, I like the size. I like the fixtures and the findings. It has this like pouch at the front, which I think would be really good for, there's a full size pocket at the front, which would be good for like if you carry a paper project or if you want to put a notions pouch in there, fine. But I will say like I'm not crazy impressed at some of the finishing. It just feels a little bit, I don't know what the word is, a bit lacking in like attention to detail. Inside here I have my needle pouch. When I go away, this is what I take, by the way. If anyone cares. I've also got my notions pouch, which is somewhere else. Oh, I know where it is, that's fine. So I take my notions pouch, which is about this size, so it's like the same, it's slightly bigger, and then there's got my tape measure, pins, cords, scissors, needles, those things. In here is just my needles and cords. So I've worked out for my project which needles I might need and what cords I might need, and they're all tucked in here, like 6 cords, and I've got all my needles and they're just loose in this pouch. And then of course I also have my actual pouch that comes with the chow goose. So like worst case scenario, if I run out of a needle, I have the size I need. It's just not going to be in the 4-inch tip, which I like most. I'll just have it in the 2-inch tip, 3-inch tip. I think 3. So that's what I take when I go away anywhere. I don't take my full needle case. Saves a lot of space. Inside this bag is some new yarn. So as I mentioned, a couple of things. One, I knit my vest in Gepard Puralana. I liked it a lot. And it was a yarn I really enjoyed. So in my head I was like, I'll use it again. 2, I showed my failed whip, which is actually right here on the table that my camera is on, from last week. However, I'm still being haunted by the idea of a raglan with colour work. I still want to do it. I want this. I feel that this pattern is inside me somewhere and it's wriggling to get out, and I need to just channel it in the right way, and that was the wrong way. So we're trying again. I did some swatching. I did a big swatch. I used Vams because I've got quite a lot of colours of Rama Vams left from my stick season escapades. So I use that to swatch. When I'm swatching colour work, I generally like to cast on in the round and then go from there. So that's exactly what I did. It is not big enough to be a hat. It's big enough to be maybe a hat for a newborn child. But then I just cut it and then I did a really big swatch. This is my swatch. So I've been like every like little half hour I've been going on to Chartminder, which is the charting tool I use, and like drawing up little chart repeats that fit into the same sort of size number, around about 10 or 12, like quite a small pattern repeat that uses like 3 colours plus a main colour, and that I think would work really nicely in a yoke or in a raglan. And so I narrowed it down after like a couple of weeks of this. I narrowed it down to 2, and my plan was to decide between the 2, and now I think I'm going to use them both. So this is what they look like. Oh, but I'm looking at it, maybe I just like the bottom one. Oh, I'm not sure I like this one anymore. This one was more fun to knit though. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I fully charted this to have both of them, and I'm taking this on holiday tomorrow. I hate this. The camera shows me things that my eyes don't see. Anyway, the plan was to have these 2 in a colourwork raglan. Damn it, now I really can't tell. No, I think I like them both together. I like them both. I like them both. So, I like the grey background. I don't do grey as a background very often, so I'm going to stick with a grey as a background. The green in both of these is going to become brandy. I don't know the colour names for the rest, I just know brandy because they have like 4 browns that all look the same. So I had to go like looking, and I don't know if anyone else does this. Here's a fun tip. If you were looking at a website of like a relatively, it doesn't really work for hand-dyed yarn, but for most commercial yarns, if you're on a website and looking at a yarn and you can't quite work out if you like the colour, just Google the colour and the brand and you'll get, someone else will have taken pictures and you'll get a more realistic colour take. So I do that quite often. I'm like, oh, I can't decide between A and B, so I'll go and like Google it and I'll see like someone will have taken like an like a scanned up picture, some might have a swatchness up and you can see it all, and it's way easier to find the colours you like. This background colour, I think, is going to be grey. This is my leftovers from my vest. I still have a full skein of this, but this is my leftovers currently. And then that little detail across the middle is going to be beige, and that's because the beige is sold out everywhere, so I decided to make it the smallest colour because I could only get 2 skeins of it. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I do think I like them both. I was second guessing myself there, but I think I like them both. So I'm taking this on the train tomorrow, and I'm going to cast it on, and it's going to be my little reward to myself. I think I'm going to have a relatively quiet, like the train down will be a bit stressful. Well, yeah, just because it's going to be Kintra launch and I'm going to be panicking about launching it, but the train down will be a little stressful. But then Friday night I think I'll be quite quiet, and then Saturday I'm seeing friends for dinner, and then Sunday morning will be relatively slow, like it won't be a crate. So I think I'll have a little bit of time by myself basically, and I thought it'd be fun to take a project that I'm excited about so that I can feel, I felt so replenished when I took my Kintra first sample on that holiday. I just felt like I'm really filling my designing cup by just having me time to just sit in it and not have to worry about the deadlines or anything. So that's kind of what I'm trying to recreate with this today. So I think that's everything. I feel like I've been talking for ages. I have been talking for ages, that's why. Thanks for joining me. The Kintra is now live. It is on Ravelry and Etsy on my website, all down below. Use Kintra10 for 10% off until Sunday, or check your email if you sign up to my newsletter for the bigger discount code. I will hopefully be back next week with an unravel video. We will see if I chicken out and don't film, but my plan is to film. I always take a camera to these things and I always chicken out, but I have my new slick camera, so maybe I won't chicken out this time. If you're coming to Unravel, come and say hi to me. I'm incredibly, I just a bit awkward to be honest in public places like this. I just don't really know what to expect, but I always like to talk to other knitters, so yeah, very welcome to some friendly faces, and I hope you're having a lovely weekend. I don't really have any personal updates. Life is good. That's about it. I will see you in a week or two, and until then, happy knitting. Bye.